everybody. Welcome to our podcast. Today we have Satya with us. He is a renowned SPCT and a transformational architect. Welcome, Satya, to our podcast.
Thank you, Priya.
Would you wish to give a more introduction about yourself?
Thank you for the opportunity in the podcast. So, about myself, my full name is Satya Narayan. Feel free to call me Satya. Roughly about 2 decades of experience in the industry. And if I want to categorize my experience into 3 areas, so one is transformation. So I was fortunate to work with some of the large enterprises, helping them in their agile and scaled agile transformation. Especially the last 10 plus years is working in SAFe, scaled agile, and working with various enterprises adopting SAFe. The second area of expertise is training. I do quite a few advanced training in SAFe. Maybe in the last 10 years, I've trained over 5,000 people globally. And the third area of my experience is also on design thinking and product management, which I'm really passionate also, especially on the design thinking space to solve some human-centric issues. Again, I was fortunate to work with some of the startup ecosystems, helping them all the way from the ideation to the product development and taking the solution to the marketplace along the business model. So the journey continues, and every engagement is something new, new experience, new learning, new complexities. And when we able to make some difference to the enterprises, some difference to the people, I think that's the biggest satisfaction, and I'm pretty happy about my journey so far.
Apart from transformation related works, we wish to know more about you. Can you please throw some light?
So apart from transformation, I have 2 more areas of interest. One is traveling. So I would like to travel a lot because the real time learning take place when we experience different culture, different food, different places. And the other important topic or area of interest is finance. So how do we make more money?
Obviously, that's the interest of everybody, all of us here, right? You were mentioning about the transformations, right? This transformation topic is really interesting, and that too, you were mentioning, you've been part of multiple transformations, whether it can be the small scale, enterprise, or up to the large enterprises. You have been part of multiple transformations. Can you give us a bit of idea about the transformations, especially the SAFe transformation in different scale enterprises?
Irrespective of the organization, they will have certain challenges to deal with. For example, how quickly the innovation they can take it to the market. Number one. Number two, how do we sense the market continuously and adopting our strategy to tackle the constant changes, whatever is taking place in the market. How can we build the quality into the solution? So plenty of challenges, irrespective of whether it is a small, mid, or large scale enterprises. I think these are all some of the things every organization care with. And scaled agile is something as a framework which helps to address many of these challenges all the way from idea to market.
And how do we start this transformation? Who can help us in this transformation journey?
So part of the transformation, whenever we would like to start the SAFe transformation, there are various things which we need to do. The first thing, we would like to have somebody who knows the framework, somebody who would like to know how to implement this framework in the real time. So this is where we go back to SPC certification. So SPC stands for SAFe Practice Consultant. So this is a certification program, a 4-day certification program, which help the first 2 days to understand the framework with great detail, and the last 2 days, how do we implement this framework in real time. So for any change to navigate, irrespective of whether it is a small or big change, there are 2 things which are very, very important. One is the deep understanding and knowledge about the subject. The second thing is, what is the approach for me to implement the change in the enterprise? So this SPC certification program help individuals, participants to gain both of this, deep understanding about the framework and how do we implement, in a real time.
So, when we talk about this SPC certification, right? Who can go for this? Do they, do they need any pre-experience in, before getting into the certification? Any specific prerequisites?
Yeah. See, when we talk about SPC, SPC as a certification is different from SPC as a role.
Okay.
Right. So when we talk about SPC certification, anybody who's interested to learn about the framework, learn about change management, and how do we implement the framework in real time, they can go through. And the participants can come from different background. There could be a leaders, technology leaders, program management background, architects, consultant, quality managers. Everybody can go through this certification. But once this certification is done, when we are playing a role of an SPC, right? So again, there's a full-time role as an SPC. That means somebody who is playing this role full-time, helping the organization, helping the portfolios to implement the framework. So to implement SAFe to achieve business agility. Right? This is one. The second thing, we also advocate. There are certain leaders in the enterprise, the key people within an enterprise who are influencers, who have credibility within the ecosystem, to go through this certification program, so that once they understand the framework and the implementation approach, they can certainly add value, contribute to the transformation as the leaders, because they already credible people in the system. When they understand what is their role and how they can add value using this framework, I think it's definitely going to complement the overall journey as a whole. So one is somebody who play this role full time, and second thing, somebody who are going to contribute. They may play different roles within an enterprise, but still they can go through this and learn the framework.
Okay, so assume industries, organization. Assume an organization wants to go through the transformation. How do they identify, who can pick up this SPC, or, a group of people, it's required for them to go through the SPC? Is there anything, condition or a scenario like that?
See, any role when we are getting into, there are two aspects which are very, very important. One is, a deep knowledge on the subject, be functional, technical, right? The second thing is the right attributes, the right traits to play that role, right? So this role is a change management role, change agent role. So this person has to deal with multiple aspects of the organization. For example, mindset, dealing with resistance, working with different stakeholders across the enterprise, then working with systemic issues, are plenty of those. So the people who are passionate to bring change in the system, with the people in the organization, I think they are the right people to go through this program, so that they already have that intrinsic motivation and also the interest. So the certification program will help them to acquire all the required tools and techniques to enhance their capability to drive the transformation.
Very interesting. This certification helps to gain the knowledge about the framework. However, through our conversation, it looks like just after 4 days, do you think a person will be able to add justice to the bringing in change or the transformation, or is it a journey? What is your view on that?
Yeah. See, if I want to give an example, let's look at an army professional who is going through multiple years of training in an academy. Irrespective of multiple years of experience, when you put them on the real-time warfield, it's not easy, right?
Yeah.
Because you are going to encounter new challenges, new impediments. You don't know from which side the bullet comes in, right? You should be prepared enough to deal with that. So similarly, this program will give you a very detailed understanding about the framework and also the implementation approach. And also this gives you a lot of required toolkit and video enabled resources to prepare more. But in addition to that, what I strongly advocate to my participants, and especially who are aspiring to become an SPC, when you are going for transformation or as an SPC you would like to train somebody, start small. Number one. Number two, it is always good to pair up with someone, an experienced SPC.
Okay.
Somebody who's already done some, SAFe transformation, worked on, launching multiple agile release train, or somebody who's already done multiple trainings. So when you pair up with someone, it's an opportunity for you to learn, from an experienced person in real time. So you already have the knowledge and the tools, but now you get to understand the real time, the challenges and how do we deal with that in real time, right? So work with some experienced SPCs or get some guidance from SPCTs, and this hand holding is required, pairing is required in real time, maybe for 6 months or a couple of launching the agile release time. After that, I think he or she will have the sufficient knowledge and the experience and understanding to deal with the situation independently.
Any prerequisites that are required to get into this certification?
The prerequisite for SPC training is having some foundational understanding about Lean Agile, and even if they have some SAFe certification, the foundation certification, that would help. It's not mandated one, but having that foundational understanding will help them to understand more during the SPC class, because it's an advanced class. Somebody who is having zero knowledge about Agile and SAFe, if they come to this training, I think they struggle to catch up with some of the advanced concept what we are going to teach. However, having some decent understanding the foundations of the Agile values, principles, manifestos, the Scrum framework, I think those things are going to benefit the participants to learn more and leverage this training to their benefit.
And is this certification specific to any of the industries? Like, is it only for the software or mechanical, automobiles, anything like that, or it can be used in any of the industries? How is it?
So many people believe that SAFe is for software development. That's not true. SAFe is for a lean enterprise who build lean systems. The systems can be made out of hardware, software, firmware, electromechanical, any of those, right? So irrespective of the domain or the industry, this framework can be implemented. There are plenty of such examples in the market, where we see companies coming from an automotive background, aeronautical background, healthcare, ERP, CRM, industrial automation, avionics, banking, finance, insurance. So plenty of industries who are implemented and have realized benefits. I don't see that every transformation has yielded with substantial benefit. It's also depending on to the level they are implementing it. If they're very serious about implementing SAFe and they have a good guiding coalition, they will produce fantastic results. If somebody is curious to learn about some of the industries and how did they deal with, in Scaled Agile portal, go to the customer story section and you'll see plenty of case studies from different organizations. Implemented SAFe, and also talks about what kind of benefit they realized out of this transformation.
So usually one question we keep getting, heard from the participants, they all want to know what next after doing this certification, SPC certification.
Yeah, so I would say this question they need to find answer even before they get into certification, right? So if I'm investing 4 days of my life to gain some understanding about some topic, so how I'm going to use that in real time, I think they need to reflect and find an answer. Probably they can talk to the training providers, if they know somebody who's already certified, talk to them, seek guidance. So I would say, once you become an SPC, this knowledge is going to help you to implement this framework in real time. So what does it mean? It means to say any organization want to move from traditional way of development to SAFe, or any organization following, let's say, ad hoc agile practices, if they want to move into SAFe, definitely, SPCs can help, in that direction. As I indicated earlier, probably they may need to, pair up with somebody who's already done for some time to acquire more real-time experience before they get into the full-time independent implementation. In addition to that, they are eligible and authorized to teach many SAFe, trainings. Mostly the 2 days and some of the 3-day courses they are eligible to teach. As SAI Skill Digital Academy has done enough work in that space, providing the training materials, the trainer notes, the activities, how do we facilitate, what do we need to do, a lot of stuff, is already there. Just that somebody would like to, conduct training, use these resources effectively, prepare themselves well, and also if you get an opportunity to pair up with somebody, teach maybe 1 or 2 lessons, gain a little more experience before you become, a little more independent on your own to teach this. So one is transformation, the second thing is training, and second thing, when you want to facilitate or implement SAFe, you also need a lot of guidance. You also need a lot of toolkits, right? So SAFe also provides a lot of downloadable toolkits to facilitate, to prepare, facilitate, and take actions in the real time for many of the SAFe events, ceremonies, and practices. Being SPC, you also get to understand, the changes which are taking place in the SAFe world itself. It's a framework which is continuously evolving to take care of the new challenges. And for example, nobody heard about, the AI, ML kind of thing probably 5 years ago, 8 years ago. Today, for every organization, it's something very, very important. It's a question of survival for them now. Now, integrating, those part of our implementation, or implementing SAFe in an environment where they're building solution around AML, robotics. So I think, all those benefits, they're going to get, to deal with the real-time challenges.
So it's more of a journey, right? See, many people come with, hey, let's go for SPC. It's a highly recommended course, or, SPC certification is on the high end, right? And the very next day, once we complete the certification, people want to take training. So people who are, aspiring to be, become a trainers, what do you suggest? Is it that overnight they can become trainers? Because as you were mentioning, looks like, they have to do a lot of preparation. And you were also mentioning about, they have to, if they get a chance, pairing with a experienced one would be helpful. So if you can throw some light here.
See, this is a very common question I do get, in my SPC trainings. See, there are 2 or 3 types of participants who come to the training. One is those who would like to, advance their career. This type 1. Type 2 is, somebody wants to become an independent trainer, probably associate with some SAFe partners and become a trainer. And third category is, of course, their organization is implementing SAFe and they want to be part of the journey and contribute, for SAFe implementation to achieve business agility. So, to become a SAFe trainer, if somebody who has already done a lot of trainings in the past, not necessarily SAFe training, but any other training, right? For example, Agile training, Scrum, or design thinking, or any other training, if they're already done and they have that expertise in terms of, teaching, and once they come to this and they equip with the required knowledge, probably they can start, teaching, right? But of course, having that real-time experience is definitely going to add value, because you're going to quote the real-time experiences when you're teaching. Otherwise, it's as good as reading the slide, right? Which the participant can do on their own. So bringing that real-time experience is definitely going to add value. The second category is somebody who has not done any training, just going through this 4-day certification, and right after that, if they want to do training. Personally, I don't advocate immediately. You need to prepare yourself. See, for any training, there are two things which are important, right? One is a sound knowledge on the topic,
Yes.
and the second thing is teaching is also a skill, right? You need to have a lot of patience. You need to have good articulation and communication skills. You need to have great listening skills, focus. There are plenty of those, and you also should be aware of, how do I engage the participant for a half a day or full day, be it an online setup or a offline setup. So plenty of those. So all these skills, it's hard to learn, overnight. So it's a journey. So my suggestion, somebody, would like to become a trainer, in the longer run, start with maybe teaching 1 or 2 hours, half a day training, not necessarily SAFe. Some SAFe topics, some other topics, then elevate their skills, both in terms of the domain expertise plus the teaching expertise. Then, enhance it to probably a day, then probably get into 2 day. In this journey, if you are able to pair up with somebody who's already doing this, that's a bonus, right? Because you get to see the real-time experience of teaching, and also handling the real-time questions. So because the participants can come from different background, right? Somebody may come from hardware background, somebody may come from software background. As a role, somebody may be a technology role, somebody may be a business role. So irrespective of the role, they participate, and the kind of questions what they're going to also ask also is depending on the role what they play, right? Hence, having that knowledge to answer is something important. So it's a journey. Prepare yourself, and it's a continuous journey. As we say, knowledge workers are lifelong learners. Continue, equip yourself if you are very serious about, in the training journey.
Very nicely explained. Most of the aspiring SPCs would get an idea, right? Because they keep asking, can we become trainers? Can we become trainers? You explained so well that it's a journey, not that one certification which can certify them as a trainer, right? Thank you so much. In the changing market conditions, market is very dynamic. Customers' requirements are dynamic, right? In this kind of an environment, how can the SPC stay focused?
Staying relevant is not just for SPCs, for any role in the corporate world. I think it is important to stay relevant, keep up to date about what they do. But from an SPC point of view, what I advocate is two things. One is continuously learn, and second thing is you should also start teaching or sharing your learning, not necessarily in the form of training. You can go to the meetups, you can go to the conferences, you can share your stories. So one way you are learning, and the other best way of learning is also by sharing, right? So these are the two things which I advocate. SAFe as a framework, they continuously evolving the framework, and also providing more additional guidances. There are a lot of new contents which are coming up in the recent past, and it is going to come in the near future as well. So I think staying up to date with what is coming in, and wherever you get an opportunity, start experimenting it in the real time, because I strongly believe the real time experimentation, real time applications, the learning is going to be fantastic, right? So continuously learn, continuously look for an opportunity to implement in real time, and also wherever you get an opportunity, share your experience, share your learning, because only when you have conversation you learn.
True, agree with that completely. Yeah. So if you for the existing SPCs and aspiring SPCs, what are a couple of things that you would wish to share?
Yeah. So, in summary, if I want to summarize my point of view, those who are already, SPC and aspiring to get into the certification, see, SAFe is a great framework, with great body of knowledge, values, set of principles. In fact, the 10 SAFe principles are so beautifully crafted. If you master those 10 principles, I think you can master the transformation, because each one of them are like gem, vast, and it can be implemented all over the organization, irrespective of the role, irrespective of the level in which you are applying. So I think continue to polish these skills of mastering the principles, and how do we translate these principles into the real-time practices. That's number one. Number two is you need to stay so humble. So what do I mean that in this journey, what happens, when we able to produce some good business outcomes, and when people and industry start recognizing, so generally, those appreciation may get into head. So my personal view is, I think we should stay humble. How much ever we learn, what we know is limited, and there are oceans of things to learn. So stay humble, continue to learn. And somebody who's really serious about getting into the SPC certification, you want to advance their employment or career, I think plenty of opportunities are available across the globe. Mid-sized to large-scale enterprises are doing transformation. There are plenty of work done in the industry, in the market space. There are plenty of work yet to be done. So there are a lot of opportunities. One, if somebody wants to leverage that. And the last point of view is especially the SAFe for hardware. How do we apply SAFe in a hardware development? See, probably the maturity in terms of adopting Agile in a hardware development is not that great yet in the market space. It's picking up. There are a lot of experimentation done, in different organizations. There are a lot of learnings. In fact, SAFe also has a course around Agile for hardware. I think specializing around that and catching up with the industry where they're adopting the Agile or SAFe for hardware development, I think it's a fantastic opportunity is what I think.
Great. We had a very interesting conversation. Lot of questions that you addressed, which are frequently asked by the aspiring SPCs. So thank you so much, Satya, for this.
Pleasure, Priya. Always there to help the community. I strongly believe we can grow only when the community grows. So please touch base if you need any further guidance.
Stay tuned for many more interesting discussions.